what we have discussed? We have discussed about a Spring JDBC, and now this Spring JDBC gives us one central class, that is JDBC template. We also get the row mapper here, and we get this JDBC template is a class. This row mapper is a interface. And before all these two, we have data source, and data source is a class. This data source is a class. So these are the three important concepts in Spring JDBC on which the entire Spring JDBC depends. When we are talking about the data source class, it is used to obtain connection with database. What is the role of JDBC template? It is a central class to perform operation. It will perform all the operations, whatever CRUD operations you are doing. What is the role of row mapper interface? So primarily it is used to mapping of database rows into Java object, and that is all in our Spring JDBC unit that we are discussing here. Spring JDBC unit. Okay. By the completion of Spring JDBC unit, what we have completed in our Spring framework. So we have completed core Spring, core container. We have completed beans, and inside bean there were a lot of topics. Spring's expression language, not that much, but yes, Spring's expression language. And along with that, we have also completed Spring JDBC module now. So these are the things that we have completed, but the database unit is still there. So whenever we are checking Spring's architecture, in this particular Spring's architecture, if you see, we have completed this core container. Spring core, Spring context means container, bean and expression language. And now we are into this data access and integration unit where we have completed our JDBC. The next thing that we are going to start here is ORM. Now this ORM and JPA, these are the two collective topics. ORM and JPA. These are the two collective topics, means we will discuss them together, ORM and JPA. But before starting a completely different unit, because after starting ORM, we will stop writing SQL queries. So once we are starting this ORM and JPA module, or you can say a unit, we will stop writing SQL queries. We will not write any SQL query after that. Now, what we are going to today, we started our course on 20th of March, right? We started our course on 20th of March. And in that particular, we have around 29 sessions, or you can say 30 sessions of Spring Boots are completed. 30 session, 30 or 31st, 30 are completed, and today we are heading towards 31st session. See, I understand this very well that Spring is a completely different and not a easy framework. From 20th March 2025 to 25th March, sorry, April 2025. If you have any doubt in any topic from day one till today, you can open the Google Classroom if you want, for both online offline, saying the same thing. You can tell the topic name. 110% we are going to have a overview, or you can say complete revision of that individual topic, but not complete topic. It means that you are asking row mapper, it will take one entire class for that. So that is not possible. You have to tell what exactly you didn't understood. I will take all the questions here, write them one by one, and then again we will say, okay, the first question that we got is bean wiring. You can open Google Classroom and check what topic you did from day one. So the first part that we got is bean wiring. Okay. First question is bean wiring. We'll take it. And you also, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Sorry? At the rate of Spring Boot application. Okay. What you didn't understood in this? Okay. Life cycle of bean. Okay. Major difference between bean and auto wired. Is there any connection between bean and auto wired? There is no, you not even a single connection between bean and auto wired. But anyhow, we'll just see bean and auto wired. So these questions are together. Creation of IOC container in three ways. Creation of IOC container in three ways. Okay. We'll try to cover most of the question. Creation of IOC container. Sorted. Quickly drop your question so that we can start having discussion. Quick overview. So don't drop these kind of question. Quick overview of JDBC template. JDBC template took 10 days to complete. You have to drop what particular you didn't understood. There is no question like this, quick overview of JDBC template. Because if I am giving quick overview of JDBC template, so I will say JDBC template is the central class in Spring JDBC which is used to perform CRUD operations. That's it. Quick overview of JDBC template. Yes. JDBC templates, their execution and return. I didn't got this question. Try to write it in a very specific way. What you want to ask. Any question that you are having are also welcomed here. Java based configuration. Ritesh, already we are saying creation of IOC container using all the three ways. So there also we will say Java based configuration. Don't worry. Drop your doubts fast so that we can start. Till 7:25 I will take your doubts. After that I will start explaining. Till then you can drop. Even you also, those who are joining offline. Spring JDBC in. Already said Srikar, just don't make that thing useless here. Because you just have to change driver class name at the rate of component at the rate of configuration. You guys don't even know how to ask questions. Lokesh, what is this at the rate of component at the rate of configuration? What I have to do with these? Should I click a picture of this and take with me? You have to ask that you didn't understood these things or you want a difference between them. What is the actual reason that you dropped this message? Could you please explain formatting of rows using row mapper? Formatting of rows means I haven't discussed anything like this formatting of rows. No, there is no format change. Can we develop application? And what we are doing from last 7 days? Are we using Spring Boot? Then methods we are using in Spring JDBC template for CRUD operation specific to procedure. So let's start answering. Okay, 1 minute is there. Any question from your side? All annotation. What you didn't understood, ask that. I am repeating it third time. Which annotation you didn't understood? Tell me any 6 annotations names. Okay. Configure. Hmm. Ah. Primary and qualifier. Okay, got it. After this, I will not give these kind of chance to ask from day one. If we are having revision, so we will have revision from 26th of April to the next date. March will not be included here. So you any doubt, even if you are asking definition of something, I'll say here. Just don't ask like Shrikar. Explain all annotations. This is not a question. Anyways, let's start answering the question. So here the first question that we got here, that method that we are using in Spring JDBC template for CRUD operations to their specific name. To their specific name. So these are the 7 questions, and now I will not take any questions. So even if it is with you, keep it with you only. So these are the 7 questions that we are going to discuss in today's class. I will start with this particular question, that methods that we are using in Spring JDBC template for CRUD operations. It can be CRUD or CRUD both. There is no fixed chance that you have to write CRUD only. It can be CRUD also and CRUD also. So don't just get panic on that method. So the methods that we are using in Spring JDBC template for performing the CRUD operations. So the answer of this particular question is actually very simple. Whenever we are talking about JDBC template, so what is JDBC template? It is a central class given by Spring JDBC. It is the central class given by Spring JDBC. It gives us some inbuilt methods to perform CRUD operations. Again, one time I am saying CRUD and CUD, they doesn't matter, both are same. To perform CRUD operation, generally it gives us two methods. JDBC template will give us two methods. First is template dot update method. Here consider that template is the object of JDBC template. Even I will write that. So JDBC template equals to new JDBC template, so that you can understand actually. So here this template is the object of JDBC template class. It has one update method, and this update method takes query as a prepared statement, or it can take query as a string also. So whenever you are giving query as a string, so your query will be defined at the top only. So there will be a string query equals to. So query will be like this: insert into employee values, and you will provide the values also. You will provide values also. One employee name is Shrikar, salary is 30,000. So now this query will go as a completely as a string, and it will process it. Now we have a string query. Now we will not give values. Query will be same, that insert into employee where values are question mark and question mark. In this particular case, same method will work by the way. So template dot update method will only work, but it will take query as a prepared statement. And after keeping a comma, you have to provide these three values. One, Shaker, 30,000. So while calling the update method, you will give the query. So we can use this update method in two ways: directly passing query as a string, or the query as a prepared statement. Now, as far as the operations are concerned, so for inserting the values, for inserting the values, that is called your create operation. For updating the values, that is called your update operation. For deleting the values, that is called your delete operation. So we have CUD here. R is different. Both the method are same. Yes, they are same. All these three method uses same method of JDBC template. All these three operation uses the same method of JDBC template, that is template dot query, template dot update, template dot update. All these three methods. That's why JDBC template is very good to understand and very easy also. That here we have only one method, that is update, and this update will work for all these three. Just you should have to write the query in the same way. Out of CRUD operation, only reading the data is available. R stands for reading or retrieving, you can say, but general word is reading the values or reading the data. That is called your read operation. Now, for this read operation, we have a different method, that is query method. That is queries for template dot query. Just for reading the values, we use this template dot query method. Otherwise, template dot update will work for all the three operations. So that is how you have the method of JDBC template. I hope it's clear now. The next question we got is, okay, let's take this question, creation of IOC container using three ways. Methods of creating IOC container. And what kind of container we are working on? So there are two containers. One is Bean Factory, which is already outdated. Second is application context that we are using now. So we are talking about application context. So there are three methods for creating container. The first one is by using XML based configuration. By using XML based configuration. Second method is by using Java configuration. By using Java configuration. And the third one is by annotation, or you can say by annotation based configuration. These are the three methods of creating IOC container. So we will start by creating this XML based configuration. So we should open Eclipse now because this we have to show live. So let's discuss here. The first method is by using XML based configuration, or first is XML based configuration. So there are some two steps. The step one is create an XML file, create a XML file in your class path. And by class path I mean src main Java. This is your class path. You can name it like this: application context dot xml. You can keep the name of the file like this. That's it. In the step 2, in the step 2, what you will do? Add the DTD. DTD is document type definition. Whose DTD? Of Spring configuration. You have to tell your XML file that you are doing XML configuration. Even when you start writing code in HTML, so you start write like this, that doc type HTML. So you are telling your browser or the concerned authority that this is the HTML type document. So any website, let's say this particular website only I'll open. You can open any website actually and go to inspect. So here it's not mentioned old website, but generally in the new websites you will get that is at the top. So you are just adding the definition to your document. Now from where we can find the Spring's DTD? So browser is there, go there and search Spring DTD configuration. Open this and the first website that you are hitting, XML schema based configuration. So just open that particular file or the website. There you will get two referencing schemas. The first one is there and second one is the equivalent. You can use the first one also, you can use the second one also. If you have very latest version, very latest version, then you can go with this also. And if you have some old version of Java and all, then just go with this one. Both will work, by the way. There is no problem in that. I will suggest you to go with the second one. So this is just the DTD that you have to keep in the file. So this is the DTD. Now inside this DTD, so I think our Eclipse is also loaded. I will create a project here. So quickly I will create a new Maven project with the quick start archetype. Name I will keep as revision. We will need the dependency of Spring Core and Spring Context. So we should go to Maven repository already and search Spring Core here. 6.2.6 version I will use. So here we got our revision project and it is still loading, by the way. So in pom.xml I will add the dependency of Spring Core and the Spring Context also I will add. Spring Context, same version, that is 6.2.6. and just save the file. So you will get the dependencies right there. So in Maven dependency, we got all the dependencies sorted. In the class path, src main Java, here I will create a new file. File name I will keep as application context dot xml. So that is my file name that I got opposite to my base package. It should not be inside your base package. It should be opposite. Yeah, both the dependencies can be the different can be of different version also, but don't keep that because it might break your product at some point of time. So now we have to keep the DTD of Spring here. So this is the DTD. I will just copy it and paste. That's it. Why we use this particular part? We are using this particular part so that we can manage the bean. We can manage the beans. Whose beans? Obviously some classes. So I will create one student class here just for testing purpose. And this student class is having one void role method, or you can make it public method. So this is having one public void role method, which is just printing one message that I am student. I am student. Now in app.java, I will create the object of student class. Normally, student dash equals to new student. And then I will call s dot role method. And we will run our application. So here we got I am student. Now, this is the complete dependency on the student class. Here we are completely dependent on student class. So we can create a bean of this. What is bean? A Java object managed by container. Means the object of student class I can give to my container. Now this is my container. I will open the file. So in this particular file, you will be seeing this particular line, bean definition here. So whenever you are creating bean by using your XML based configuration, so at first you have to create a bean tag. What you have to do? You have to create a bean tag, and you have to give two things to this bean, one ID and one class. Class should be your fully qualified class name. So that is how we create beans in XML based configuration. So simple. So at first I will create a bean tag here, and to the bean I will give two attributes, ID as something and class as something. ID is not mandatory, but class is mandatory. I want to manage the object of this student class. So I will just copy my package name dot class name. That is your fully qualified class. ID you can give anything, doesn't matter. I will give ID as STU. Okay, ID as STU. Now, whenever we are going to app.java, at first we will create our container. So here also I will mention the same thing, that creating the container in main class. What kind of container we are creating? Application context. So we will write the same thing, application context. Application A capital, context C capital. Application context, container is the object name, and from where it will come? New. Now, what kind of configuration you are doing? So here we will write application context container equals to new. What kind of particular configuration we are doing? XML based. Then what is the class name for that? Class path XML application context. Class path XML application context. Application context container equals to new class path XML application context. And now here it requires a string. Just read the class name. Class name is class path XML. That you are trying to create application context by giving a class path XML slash application context.xml. Then you have to provide your file name. You can provide this file name externally or internally both. Here you can create string path equals to the path and give this path value here, or else you can simply make it here. Both will work. Why we using class path XML? Because we are creating XML based configuration, and this XML file is available in my class path. Class path means src main Java. That is why we are writing that class path XML. So we will mention the same thing, the path here, that is slash application context dot xml. Now it can be different for you if you are creating a file with different name. After this I will just print a message that container is created, just to check if we are getting any error or not. So I will just run and our container is getting created, means there is no error in this line. Now container is having the bean. This container is having the bean of particular student class. So when I am creating the object of student class, I will say student s equals to new student. But this time we are not using this new student. I will ask container dot get bean, that give me the bean of, and it require either class name or either method name. So I will say that I want the bean of student dot class, student dot class, and using the object of student s, I can check the role of student. So I am just printing s dot role. So we should get I am a student. So we are getting I am a student. So that is your XML based configuration. If you have another class, another bean. That's it. So simple. If you have another class, another bean. There is nothing more to discuss in this, right? As much as beans you are having, as much as beans you will create. So that is your XML based configuration. Now second configuration is Java based configuration. Java based. We are not going to discuss any question out of this list. One last time I am saying, don't ask any other question. You got 10 minutes to drop your questions. Now don't break the flow. Now we are discussing about Java based configurations. That how we can create our container using Java. So there also first step will be create a class in any package, but it should not it should not go out of base package. Not at all. Base package should be same as Java config. Now we will follow a class based configuration. So for a moment, what I will do, I will just open this file, this one, and here we are creating a bean of student. I will just comment out this part so that this particular part is not working after that. Okay. So this bean part is commented out now. In the same package, by the way, this jdbc.revision, as this is my base package, I will create a new class that is Java config. What you did first when you created an application context file, adding the DTD. So here the step 2 will be same. We will add the DTD. We will add the DTD of Spring configuration. But as we are not working with XML, so we will one annotation over the class as the substitute of DTD, and that annotation is at the rate of configuration. Now if your question was this, okay, no question, but if you have that question, that what is the meaning of at the rate of configuration, then configuration is the substitute of DTD, and it is given by Spring context as a annotation. Okay. So what it is? It is given by Spring. Now this is having the DTD. Third step is so simple. Now we can define the bean inside the configuration class, but here we have to define the beans as a method. So in this particular class, I will create a method whose bean you are creating student. So this method should be of type student only. Public student stu. After that, what you will do? You will just create a student object inside this student s equals to new student, as the return type of this method is of student type. So you can return this s. That's it. Last time we were writing bean tag. Last time we were writing bean tag. So here and annotate the method with at the rate of bean. That's it. So now this method is a bean. So it is not a bean tag, but it's a bean annotation. And what we will do in the next further step, that is step 4, in the main class, configure the container or create the container. Configuration is going on there. Create the container. So what I will do in main class, these 3 lines I will comment out. They are not working now. Again, we have to create a what? Java based container. So how we will create that Java based container? Very simple. We are working on type application context container equals to new application context. Wait a minute, I know what you are asking. How you are defining this application context now? By writing annotations. This annotation, this annotation. So it should have new annotation config application context. Application context container equals to new annotation config. For both Java based and annotation based, we use the same class annotation config application context. Now we have to give the file name. So in my case, the file name is java config.class. Now we will ask the same thing to the container that give me the object of student class. Same way, that student as equals to container dot get bean student dot class s dot role. We will just run it. And here we got I am a student. Here we can call the bean by their name also, method name. Instead of class, I can write the method name. Method name is stu. So I can call the same thing there, stu. But whenever I am writing like this, that container dot get bean stu, you have to cast it. So now this is returning me the student. So you have to cast it to a student. And now it will work. Now you have to cast it to student. So again we are getting I am a student. Even you can give name to this bean also. That will also work. But already we discussed that part. You can check. So that is how we create container using Java based configuration. Student dot class. This part comment out. And what I will do, I will comment this part also. Third is annotation based configuration. Third is annotation based configuration. So it's quite simple and easy. What we do here, it will follow it will follow the same procedure as Java based configuration, but there will be one change, and that change is in the Java config class we will not create any bean. Then what we will do, we will annotate the Java config class with one more annotation, that is at the rate of component scan. So I will write one more there, that is component scan. Now what does this component scan means? So at the rate of component scan, any class having this annotation will say that I personally don't have any bean. I personally don't have any bean, but you can find in my package, you can find in my package if any class is having the annotation. What kind of annotation? Either it can be component. These are stereotype annotation. Either it can have component, it can have service, it can have at the rate of controller, it can have at the rate of rest controller, or it can have at the rate of repository. So if any of the class is having these annotation, That is your bean. So now what we will do is we don't need to create anything here. To the student class, I will just say that boss, you are a component. That's it. Sorted. Now this is called annotation based. You are not creating any method anywhere. Now your class is becoming a bean itself. So now what we will do? Same thing we will do now also, but this time it is annotation based container, and just removing the comment. Same code will work because container will automatically manage the bean of this student class. Why? Because at the rate of component is written there. At the rate of component is written there. So let's run the main app now. And here we got I am a student. So that are the three ways of creating a IOC container. Primary and qualifier. Primary and qualifier. So let's understand this primary and qualifier now. At the rate of primary and at the rate of qualifier. What I will do, let's say this student is having some values. Some values like this, that it is having some int id. I'm creating them public so that directly you can access public int id and public string name. So you are having these two things, and this role method will print that my name is my name is, and it will print the student's name like this. Okay. And now we are following Java based annotation. Which annotation? Java based. So we will remove the comment from this particular Java config class from this bean. And here we are setting the values to student. So I will say s dot id is equals to 10 and s dot name is equals to, let's say, Shrikar. As they are public methods, so directly I am able to set. I'm not calling any getter setter method. In app.java, we are doing the same thing again, application context container, and we will run role method. So here we are getting one exception. No unique bean definition exception. It is saying that expected single matching bean but found two. Where is the second one? Okay, our class is also becoming a bean because at the rate of component is written there. I will comment this component. Now it is not a component now. Now I am getting that my name is Shrikar. But there will be multiple student, right? So in this Java config, there is one more student. That the student 2. What it is saying? My ID is 101 and my name is Shankar. My name is Shankar. Now what we will do is in app.java, again I am trying to create the object of student class and run it again. We are getting an exception here. Now this is a true exception. Exception is saying expected single matching bean but found two. So whenever the Spring is going into the Java config class to find the object of student, we are getting the two beans, but it will take only one. Now you have to specify this, that okay, when someone is asking the container which bean you have to give. So let's say this student 2, I will write something as primary here. What I will write? To this student 2, I will write primary here. Now, whenever I'm trying to run this application, and this time we didn't got any error. What we got? My name is Shankar. Now also two beans are available in the container, right? And that thing is not getting confused because you have made this stu2 method as primary. It means now it will have the priority. Whenever Spring is getting confused, Spring will choose this and go away. Use of at the rate of primary annotation. Primary annotation. We use this method, we use this annotation in Java based configuration because if there are more than one bean is available of same type, so Spring will get confused. So whichever method is having at the rate of primary annotation, Spring will give priority to that. Spring will give priority to that method bean. Understood primary now? Wait a minute. So that is how we use the primary annotation. Now what we will do is we will try to understand the qualifier annotation. Qualifier. For that qualifier, this bean and auto wiring will be also done. bean wiring and bean wiring auto wired, like that we will do. So these two topics will be covered with particular this class. Let's say in this particular same package we have one teacher class as well. This teacher class is there, and now this teacher class is having one public void role method. This teacher class is having public void role method, and this teacher is printing that I am the teacher of the student name. Obviously we will write. Now at first we should create the bean of teacher in our container. So at the rate of bean, that is public teacher teacher, we will create the object of teacher class inside teacher t equals to new teacher and just return t. In my main class, what I will do, here I will create the object of teacher class, that is teacher t equals to container dot get bean teacher dot class, and here we will print t dot role. So here it is printing that I am teacher of who, we don't know. Now this teacher will say that I am the student of, we don't know the student name. Now what is bean wiring? Understand bean wiring here. Bean wiring. So understand that. Here I will create the object of student class. So I will say student s equals to new student. And this teacher is printing that I am the teacher of s dot name, the name of student. Let's print it here. So we will get null value, that I am the teacher of null. Why? Because you are creating object using the old technique. You should ask the object of student class from this container, because container is having two students. Container is having two students, but you are not asking to container. Now can I say like this here, that student s equals to container dot get bean? First of all, container is not in this class. Container is only available in your main class. And now teacher class wants the mm, object of student class, but it does not have container. For that we use bean wiring. So bean wiring is an approach or method due to which two different bean two different beans can inject object of each other into each other. Now this teacher class will say that I am also a bean, as my bean is available in the container, and the student's bean is also available in container. When we both are available in container, why we are not creating a wired connection between us? So here I will create a object of student like this, that public student s, but you should define the connection. So the connection is at the rate of auto wired. Now this student class will create a wired connection with this teacher class, and now teacher can print s dot name like that. Now we will run it in the main class. So here we are getting I am the teacher of Shankar. Why? But there are two students, right? There are two students in container. Why only Shankar? Why only Shankar? Because the Shankar bean is having at the rate of primary. What if it is not having primary? Now there are two beans available for student. Run it. exception like this, that there are two beans available and this I can't work. Now where we use qualifier, so the qualifier is used whenever you are doing auto wire. Below this auto wire I can write qualifier. In qualifier you can write the method name. So now stu I am writing. If I am running the main class, I am the teacher of Shrikar. How I am the teacher of Shrikar? Because the STU method belongs to Shrikar. If teacher is saying that the qualifier means the name of student whose teacher I am as STU2 will go and run the class, and that's what we got. So that is qualifier and primary annotation. Primary annotation we write in the Java config class. Qualifier we write wherever you are doing auto wiring. And what is auto wiring? So auto wiring is a concept where two different bean can use each other's object by making a wired connection. So that is primary and qualifier along with the bean wiring and auto wired. So now if you are asking a difference between bean wiring and auto wired, so the answer is simple. Bean wiring is a process and auto wired, it is an annotation to achieve bean wiring. Bean wiring is a process. How you will achieve this process? By writing at the rate of auto wired. Now we are left with two questions, that is Spring Boot application and life cycle of Bean. So at first at the rate of Spring Boot application. So at first this annotation is related to Spring Boot application, and we can say this is the main annotation in Spring Boot. So if you check here, we are having three different classes, three different annotation. In this Java config class, at first we are writing that this is the configuration class. Then we are saying that this is the component scan. So in Spring Boot, we don't do these things. This annotation is combination of three different annotations. The first, that is at the rate of configuration. So I will show you just one project of Spring Boot. So e-banking was our Spring Boot project. Here this e-banking application class is having the annotation that is at the rate of Spring Boot application. Now it means that here at the rate of configuration tag is also available. At the rate of configuration means same class is the configuration of container also. Means the same class is the container. But there is no bean here. When we get this case that bean are somewhere else, whenever the class is having at the rate of component scan, because that is also available. If you are writing at the rate of component controller, how you are able to write? You are able to write because your configuration class is having component scan. What is the process name? That the same class is your container's configuration also, and same class is having the container initialization. So there is one more annotation, that is enable auto configuration. Enable auto configuration. So your Spring Boot application is the combination of these three annotation at the rate of configuration, at the rate of component scan, and at the rate of enable auto configuration. Okay, now understood, Srikar? What you understood? Hmm. Which one? Hmm. Auto configure. There is no annotation in Spring Boot as auto configure. Forgot. Just now I have written this and you forgot. See again, read it. You have 2 minutes to read. Read it fast. Read it. I am saying read it. I will ask questions to you after your reading. First you read it. Now it is 8:23. I will ask you 8:25. Okay? Read. Read, Shrikar? Sure. Right? Okay. Tell me, why don't we use main method in all the classes? Say. See, in React class also I said that I will ask to you. I don't forget, man. Why we don't use main method in all the classes? Learn it. Why are you not learning it? Two reasons are there. First reason, I will ask on Monday also. First reason is, if all the classes are having main method, then all the classes will get independence to run alone. They don't need main method, main class, nothing. They will run automatically. And it is not safe. And it is not safe. Second method is, if we are calling main method outside, if we are calling main method outside, then we have to what? Give arguments unnecessarily. And the reason is your main method is written something like this: public static void main string args. So your main method is passing some argument. Argument is like this, that whenever you are calling the main method, you have to provide a string array arguments. You want to write? Shikar, you want to write these? You remember? Sure. Say then. What I deleted. Say that. Why we don't use main method in all the classes? Are you remember it, right? Now say me. It is unnecessary. What is unnecessary? Read it, man. Read it. So let's come down to the last topic of the revision class, that is life cycle of bean. Life cycle of bean. So what do you mean by life cycle? So the life cycle means the time span between the birth and death. That is called life cycle. Human also has a life cycle where they will grow older and like that. And we are talking about beans. Let's say I'll open the project that we did today. That is revision project. So here we have bean of student, bean of student, bean of teacher. Are they having any life cycle? Life cycle means when they will get their birth and when they will be dead. Dead means now you cannot use them. So for that, I will give you the complete documentation. So we will go to the official website of Spring. This one. That is Spring Framework website. But not this one. Wait. Spring Framework. This is the official website of Spring, and they are only bean life cycle. So these are the sum of inbuilt method. They will be called whenever you are doing the part with bean. So how the life cycle of bean starts? So the life cycle of bean starts whenever you are doing the initialization callback. I will just say you with our example. I just came to this particular documentation that everything is available there. Whenever you are creating a bean, in this project we created bean. What was the first step that we did? By writing a bean annotation and define the bean. So that becomes the first phase, and the first phase is called instantiation. Instantiation. It is a stage where your bean is getting created. When bean is getting created. So first stage is the instantiation stage where your bean is getting created. Now this is your bean. Public student STU, this is your bean. Now after writing the method, what you will do, you will set the properties that student's ID is 11, student's name is Shankar. You will set the properties. That becomes the second step, or you can say the second phase of the life of bean. And that particular phase is called populating properties. Populating properties in the standard terms. In normal English, it is called setting the properties. You can use getter setter methods if your methods are private. What you are doing after doing the setting the properties, we are just returning it. So that particular phase is called post construct. What does it call? Post construct. Post construct. It means that now bean is ready to, okay, not in this one. After setting the properties, we have to return the bean. So that is post initialized. That is the phase known as post initialized phase. In this phase, your container class will process this bean as you are returning one student object. So your container will process this. And that particular phase is called post construct. Now, this post construct is a method which is called internally by the bean. Let's say this is your static class bean, and in that okay, I'll show you the implementation. So that is a method post construct which will be called in this way. Internally it is done. After this, now we are ready to use our bean. Like this, we can use the bean of teacher, student, whatever. So the fourth phase that comes in the life cycle of bean is ready to use stage. At this particular stage, your bean is ready, right? Now, as I told you that Spring is managing all the object. So Spring will do two things with the bean. Now, when I'm running the code, main code, I'm getting the output. Output is that I am the teacher of Shankar. The teacher's object is getting used, or we can say the bean of teacher is getting used here. What will happen when I used the teacher's bean? Spring will say that you have used the bean and the program has terminated. Means program is not running now. That is called pre-destruction phase. Now Spring will decide to destruct it. Now let's understand with the example. So let's say this particular Java config is giving a bean of scanner class. So that is public scanner, and inside we will create the object of scanner class. And generally we have to, whenever we are using the scanner class, at last when you stopped using scanner, we have to do sc.close, that now close the scanner. We don't need it now. Now this time you are not doing that. Spring will automatically take it to the pre-destruction phase. That is called at the rate of pre-destroy. Now Spring is ready to destroy the object of scanner class. Once your application is about to terminate, means you have used all the beans, terminate. At last, Spring will destroy this bean, that is called destruction phase. In the destruction phase, the bean is removed from the container. Removed from the container means it is to be called again. You have to call again to use this bean. You cannot use the previous method now. So that is the life cycle of this bean. At first, see the step only. At first, you are creating the bean, then you are setting the properties, then you are getting it ready to post, that is post construct. Then this bean became ready to use, and then this bean is called here. After that, Spring will prepare it to destroy, and then at last it will be destroyed. If you have any doubt in this post construct and pre destroyed, so we will do one thing, that we will create one internal application. These are the internal implementation. So we have to create an internal application for that, where we will see, we will visualize the things that okay, bean is created, which method is called, like that we will do, but it will take a lot of time, so one complete session it can take. So that also we will do, right? So that's how we went off to our revision class, and these were the topics, the subtopics that we discussed, right? The life cycle of bean was theoretical here, all theoretical, but I will show you the visualized also. Means in code, I will show you where this post construct is working, post construct is working, where at the rate of pre destroy is working. So we will see it at that time when we are creating code. So that's all for today. And what we are going to discuss on Monday? On Monday, we will take our discussion to JPA and ORM, where JPA stands for Jakarta Persistence API and ORM stands for Object Relationship Mapping. So I'll tell you one thing. In Java, this JPA, you know JPA. Earlier, before some years, this JPA was Java X dot persistence dot API. Java dot X dot persistence dot API. The full form of JPA was before some year Java X dot persistence dot API. But now it has become Jakarta Persistence API. And now there is a task for you, weekend task. Why Java has to change the name of this particular thing from Java X to Jakarta. Jakarta, by the way, is a country name. Sorry? Alien. Island. What is that? Say the spelling of word that you are speaking. Yes. So what do you call it? Island. Okay, sir. So James Gosling loves islands. So he named it Jakarta. What was my question, sir? And once again you are taking name. I don't want you to take name of anyone. It doesn't looks good, man. Be mature. My question is, why Java X converted to Jakarta? Search it online and give me the answer. I know you don't know the answer. You have tomorrow's day, the Monday next day, because we will meet at 7. So I will start the class with this question only. Why Java renamed from Java X to Jakarta? And one hint I'm giving, it was a decision made because of Eclipse. This was the decision made because of Eclipse. There was something there. Fine, guys, we'll connect again on Monday. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Bye bye. Take care.